you're surrounded by the hurting tide, and you just don't care for the sight. But we'll come running to your side. We will protect you from your fright. All of us are on your side. We'll take them. We'll take them down. Fight! 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 You know you must be strong and hold your own, 'cause the power's on your side.
Good evening, UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. We have been on a hiatus. We have gone through some turbulent times. We are still going through some turbulent times. I don't think so. And tonight we are kicking off our return for a special occasion of the return of Animation Spotlight. And here we are talking about
I come from the net, through systems, peoples, and cities, to this place, Mainframe. My format, Guardian, to mend and defend. To defend my newfound friends, their hopes and dreams. To defend them from their enemies. They say the user lives outside the net and inputs games for pleasure. No one knows for sure, but I intend to find out. Reboot!
yes, indeed, we are talking about Mainframe's first animation go-ahead that launched them onto the map and have later on gave them the keys to a Transformers property known as Beast Wars, which we also talked about years ago. I can't recall how many years. I can't do math right now. I'm that kind of Negro. But no, we have talked about their series prior, but now we're talking about the very series that launched them into the path of animation, which one day we also going to touch on their next milestone, which is Shadow Raiders, aka War Planets. That's correct, Buddy Smith. They also did Voltron the Third Dimension. We got to talk about that one day. Of course, we have Draco in the house too. But let's not jump ahead and let's start with the introductions. Unfortunately, our Hound of the South, my usual wingman that's usually here to back me up whenever time I'm kind of fumbling around, getting off track. He's not here tonight, so you're gonna experience some chaos tonight. But I'm here with the two ladies, starting with the lovely Leia Val, Leia Plus Size.
Hello and good evening, everyone. This is Leah Plus Size, your lovely lady of valor, and welcome for this discussion about reboot, which I don't have much knowledge of, so you're not going to hear from me that much, but I'm sure our commander is going to give us a very enthusiastic and passionate talk and discussion show. So I hope you enjoy it.
And we also have the Humbles of Writers, Humble Marty.
Hello, I am Humble Marty and I rate things. And we're focusing on something that is pretty cool. Reboot.
Is one of those rare animation pinnacles of animation where it's mostly done in 3D animation. This is the experimental age of at that time where three-dimensional imagery was being utilized, and usually they were using it sparingly in some animations, and even then, it never translated well with the 2D versus the 3D. But this one was in complete 3D, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what a technical marvel it was at the time, especially with our child eyes, not minding all that much about the models and the movements and the background sometimes. We weren't really that bothered by it. But let's get into the synopsis. Reboot is a Canadian animated television series created by Gavin Blair, Ian Pearson, Phil Mitchell, and John Grace, with a visual design by Brendan McCarthy after initial attempt by Ian Gibson. It was produced by Vancouver-based Mainframe Entertainment, Alliance Distribution, and BLT Productions, and originally aired on YTV from 1994 until 2001. It is notable for being one of the first made-for-television CGI stories. Most of the time, CGI animated stuff was mostly in filming, mostly in direct-to-video films. Okay, this was the one first time ever fully rendered animated production that was completely on network television, and once again, that was quite an achievement because that stuff is not cheap. You understand? Look how much Toy Story had to cost when it was being made, back when Pixar was getting their feet wet. Okay? So imagine something like that, right? And you're doing that for network television. Okay? Y'all follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Now double that up into three. At the time, we thought it was 3 seasons, but with the news surface, it was actually 4 seasons. Double that up to 4 seasons, almost yearly. 4 seasons yearly. Okay, that is quite the achievement.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I take it, Leia, you have not watched this series.
To be honest, no, I have not.
You have probably never heard of this series.
I've heard of it. I've seen clips, but to be very honest, it just wasn't my thing. I've heard of it. I've seen clips from time to time, and I'm trying to be as tactfully honest as I can. It's just something that just never caught my attention. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you're not hurting our feelings. Humble. What about you?
I'd seen it as a kid when I was supposed to be in bed.
What? They aired it in prime time?
There was one channel that was supposed to be basically your go-to TV guide for wherever the cartoons were at.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a search feature, and if you learned how to scroll through that, then you could find the cartoons, and I usually grabbed the TV when no one else had it, which was usually when everyone was asleep.
I watched this on Channel 7, also known as the network ABC, which was always the bedrock where a lot of Disney productions, animated productions, would preside in, along with their live action shows as well. You know, you had your shows like Goof Troop, Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles, and the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. You know, but this was always coming on early in the morning, which was, of course, where we dub it the Saturday morning cartoon, along with many other Saturday morning cartoons. But I remember being marveled by it and being very wowed by it, just by the fact that it was completely CGI. Uh, the characters were pretty rad. You know, you had the Guardian Bob, the the sprite Enzo, and also the the tomboyish Dot Matrix, though she was very feminine in her own right as well. But she was also head of. She was She was basically a directive program. First of all, let me go into to the world building here. This whole world is called Mainframe, and yes, it's called Mainframe because this world in particular is taking place within a computer. So you can almost say that this was kind of like your kids' Tron. Okay. Only difference is they're not fighting some master control program this time. They're fighting a literal computer virus known as Megabyte. And what was crazy at the time is voice acting. The voice acting is phenomenal. They specifically a lot of people will know Megabyte through the elder god who was the elder god from Legacy King himself, Tony J, who also voiced what's his name, Count Frollo from the Hunchback of Notre Dame, for instance. He was also Shere Khan in Tailspin. Years after, who was the original voice actor for Shere Khan in the Jungle Book, if I recall? Somebody will tell me in the comments. I know, but has some really great cast. I'm trying to look for the cast and crew. Here we go. Voice cast. Bob from seasons 1, 2, and 4 was voiced by Michael Benyar, excuse me. And he was the voice of Haji Singh in season 1 of The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. Bob during season 3 was James Corlett, who was Yvonne the Yukon, he was being in Yvonne in the Yukon. Ruby Spears in Mega Man and Mega Man series Cheetor. He was Cheetor in Beast Wars. So season 3 we had Cheetor, the voice of Cheetor, that is. Dot Matrix was Kathleen Barr, who was Mary Kanker and Kevin in Ed, and Eddie, Trixie Lula Moon and Queen Chrysalis in My Little Pony, Friendship with Magic. And Maurice Lefebvre and Liberty's Kids. So I'm a little slow. It's been a long day, guys. Stay with me. Enzo was Christopher Gray. Don't know. They don't have anything listed for what he's done in the past. And Jacobo Bisato in season 4. Paul Dobson. Anybody remember who that is?
Good question.
He was Juggernaut in X-Men Evolution, and also Miyoga and Nuraku from Inuyasha, who voiced later on when we get to the later seasons Matrix. And more on him later, but we're not going to tell anybody who it is. I'm pretty sure some nitwit's going to say in the damn comments. But yeah, Tony J, who also voiced Megabyte, who was a very Shakespearean man himself, voiced all sorts of characters. We probably don't need to name them all. Oh, but he says Dawson was also in Ranma. Nice. Who else has joined in? There's only 3 people in so far. Okay, cool. Judge Frollo, right? Judge Frollo, chair face. Here we done got him started. Ah, the Guardians outfit were based on Judge Dredd. Nice. By the time the show started, I had been born, so I completely missed it. Man, if only I could trade years with you.
Mm. It's never too late to pick up an old show.
That's right. It was on ABC for a while until it migrated to Cartoon Network on the Toonami block, and that's where I was able to complete it from start to finish. Because for a while, I believe season 1 and 2 were on ABC, and then season 3 aired on Cartoon Network in the
Yeah,
Toonami block.
you could also catch many of these older shows on, and this still works to this day, on some of the older local networks because they usually buy the license just to fill in some space. And this is like local public TV networks, if they still, they still work because you can still buy rabbit ears from Walmart. Enzo Like Kid.
Sorry,
Didn't Mainframe do the animation for the money?
I'm confusing you. Go and read that one.
An Enzo Like Kid design was also used in Do You Wanna Get Rocked music video. Didn't Mainframe do the animation for the Money for Nothing music video?
I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Great testing ground for what they would improve with Beast Wars. Exactly. Beast Wars was another highlight of their workload. I think they also did Heavy Gears as well.
Mm-hmm.
The 3D. I'm guessing that's supposed to be a Battletech. Oh man, dude! I think we grew. I think we were born at the same time in the same year. I'm beginning to feel like both me and Buddy Smith were born at the same time in the same year. Or maybe you were born way earlier than I am. But man, I think our lives are. I think you might be a future me or past me or something. I'm kidding. No, but like yeah, it was on ABC until tonight until its completion, and after that we didn't see no other season. Hell, I figured okay, 89. He was born like 2 years, 3 years, 2 years after me. He was born 2 years after me, but yeah, we were cut from the same cloth regardless. But yeah, so far this season is off to a good start. It's very episodic. Season 1, as many seasons when it comes down to certain Saturday morning cartoons, they go off with the episodic formula just to get the viewers interested, keep the viewers interested too as well. Majority of the season is just them dealing with everyday troubles with Megabyte himself until the next episode introduces Megabyte's sister Hexadecimal. Let me explain Megabyte. Megabyte is very a troublesome virus that's always trying to escape into the net of the computer system. He's always looking for tears in the system so he can escape. Now, what would happen if he ever escaped? No one knows. But Bob, as the Guardian, always try to prevent. He always does his best to prevent Megabyte from escaping. Every single time, he's always attempted to escape. And when he's not trying to escape, he's always trying to find a way to give the heroes a bad day. At times, and his sister Hexadecimal is a whole nother can of worms, because in her case She loves to cause a lot of chaos. And she also might also mention she also seemed to have a crush on Bob.
Seemed.
Well, she tends to do things for him at the best of him because she has a crush on him. You know,
Oh.
she's weird. What's interesting about Hexadecimal though is the way how she communicates. Sure, she has a voice. Wait, actually, you know what? Let me ping her actress real quick. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't even get through most of the characters so far in this season. That is, Fong, Michael Donovan. Wikipedia doesn't have nothing on him, I guess. Oh well. Oh, he also voiced Mike TV as well. Mike VTV. Ray Tracer. Ray Tracer. I don't know who that is yet. Sorry guys. I'm sorry. Memory escapes me. Megabyte's trusty sidekicks, Hack and Slash. Hack being voiced by the man himself, the man of 1,000 voices, Scott McNeil, also known as Billy Lee. No, not Billy. Jimmy Lee. And the best Wolverine iteration in X-Men Evolution. I'm not sorry for that either.
Hmm.
He did voice the best iteration of Wolverine. Granted, 90s Wolverine is still good in his own right, but everybody loves Evolution Wolverine. Don't lie. Don't y'all lie. Y'all know y'all love him. Anyways, that's it so far. So far for the characters that's introduced in the first season, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Fong is excuse me, Bob's master who teaches him the ways of the Guardian, who is a play on the wise Chinese fortune cookie master in a lot of karate films. So whenever time Fong would talk, he was speaking philosophical tirades, that is, and it leaves everybody confused, but they end up arriving at the solution to the issue that he's philosophizing about, you know.
Hmm.
And speaking of which, the characters are right there in front of you. In the center of your right is Bob himself, the Guardian. To his next to him is Dot Matrix, the girl, the lady of the hour. Next to Bob's left shoulder is Hexadecimal. To his right shoulder is Megabyte, the bad guy. The big bulky robots on opposite sides of the square space are Hack and Slash. Slash being red, Hack being blue, I believe. Don't worry about everybody. You can easily get them confused. The TV head monitor dude next to the gold guy is like the TV, and the gold guy is definitely Fong himself, Master Fong. The little kid with the red hat on his head is Enzo Matrix, Dot's little brother, Bob's sidekick, and protege in the future. More on that when we get there. We're not going to speak on that yet. But Enzo tends to look up to Bob himself, and there's some foreshadowing of where his character arc is going to go.
Hmm.
What do you mean there, Draco?
Do not mention the garbage. Scott McNeil is the best Wolverine and Piccolo, hands down.
Scott McNeil will always be Piccolo to me. To me, he made Piccolo's voice. Ocean Dub forever, guys. I don't care what anybody say. Ocean Dub is still the best, regardless of the hiccups and the speed bumps. with that sound design. Dragon Ball reference. Blake Smith says, if you look at the early reboot pitch videos, Megabyte was partnered with a character called Hacker, which was dropped by the crappy Netflix show, reused badly. But the crappy Netflix show reused badly. Oh my goodness. We are not going to speak on the Guardian Code ever during these streaming sessions.
I haven't watched it, so I'm just more familiar with Reboot than I am anything else right now.
Calm your heels, keep it in your pants, Draco. I know what you're talking about. He's talking about the Guardian Code. We're not talking about the Guardian Code ever.
Don't watch it. How
Oh
will
my
it will
God.
scar your soul? True. No more than usual. So, anyway, what is our favorite things about Reboot?
Wait a minute, hang on. One
Oh,
more
okay.
character, and that's the dog, Frisket. Frisket is my boy. I swear, he is my boy. I love Frisket. There is absolutely nothing that dog can't do. That dog is the Tasmanian devil in the computer system. He is feisty. He is fierce. He is also Enzo's loyal friend. And unfortunately, the episode dedicated to them together by themselves, I used to like, but looking at it, revisiting it again, I have mixed feelings about that episode. It's mostly a filler episode, and things in that episode happen at random for it to start. But it does kind of it does help kind of like cement Enzo's character and his relationship with Frisket, because Frisket shows up when the show allows him to at times, and he's just there to run amok sometimes. Whenever time he's present, especially around Bob, he's always running amok. That episode was just, I just remember it being fun for me as a kid. And I think it serves its purpose. It's for the kids. Enzo is for the kids. Now, the one episodes that let's break down a few episodes. We're not going to talk about every episode of the season, mind you, but we'll break down a few of the episodes. Like the first episode, which kind of got me very into aviation, which I recall kind of give me a bit of a love for aircraft and airplanes, which is funny because okay. So it's usually the standard thing, that the standard formula of the episode is Bob and Megabyte have a fight. A plan is being made by Megabyte himself, and then GameCube shows up. Yes, the computer has video games in it, and they come in the form of these GameCubes, and the system will warn the whole entire town of Mainframe that a game is about to come in. Now, it's up to Bob or many others that get engulfed into the GameCube to basically prevent the user from winning. Yes, guys, if you guys are playing PC games, the reason why you lose in your games is because game sprites are stopping you from winning. And the reason why they're stopping you from winning, because if you win, a piece of their home gets destroyed. And those who lose in the game becomes these little slug creatures that drain your energy called gnolls. And gnolls are controlled and commanded by Hexadecimal herself. We're going to get into her pretty soon. Trust me. We're going to get back into her real soon, because she's a unique character too. But yeah, Every single time a user boots up a game, Bob has to go in, or many other game sprites that get caught up in the game queue, has to stop the user from winning, because again, if it win, they lose a sector of their city, and everybody becomes a null. So that's bad. Don't play your games on your computer, guys. I kid.
Look, the part I enjoyed is the city looked kind of like the innards of an old computer.
Well, that was back when we had very old computers. You know, the Windows, the IBMs, where you had. We all know those who grew up on those times know what our computers look like. So of course it's gonna look the way it does. Warning: incoming game. Warning. Yeah, that was one of the most iconic lines in that show. Warning, incoming game.
Cue the boss music.
Yep. Or in the case of, if you lose, game over. The user has won. The user wins. Or if you win, game over. They don't say you win. They say game over. I'm like, man, what? Really? They get no congratulations? And what was cool about the games is that the creators can go nuts with the types of games that they involve themselves in. So I was mentioning aviation. In the first game of the first episode was kind of a you can almost say it was a Star Wars-esque X-wing type of game. I guess you can infer that, because there's these ships that are on this space aircraft carrier, but it's obviously inspired by Star Wars, and it's got a little bit of I'm gonna assume Wing Commander of it, with the way how the weapons shoot and how they move about. Another game is them racing. It's a racing game, obviously meant to be your standard computer racing game, not really tied to any other famous racing game that was out at the time. Just your typical oh, sorry.
It was your trophy. Yeah, it was your trophy racing game.
Well, it was one of those standard racing games that really didn't have no goals, nothing like that, before racing games became more complex. Before we had RC for the Nintendo system, or say for instance, long before we got Gran Turismo, or even Mario Kart for that matter. Then there's things like say for instance, a game that involves a knight, a dragon. You're supposed to, I guess you're supposed to be racing around the clock to save a princess, and it becomes Panzer Dragoon for a while before Panzer Dragoon was even made. Another one, for example, was this Prison Breakout game, which I don't know what inspired them to make that game, but it was a fine game. It's one of my favorite games, especially the episode where Dot and Bob act uncharacteristically antagonistic towards each other for whatever reason. Considering that the previous episodes before, they were working real well together. Dot being the very tactician, while Bob being the more maverick of their duo, and you can kind of see a few hints of them getting closer and closer as the episodes go on. So you can kind of see a bit of relationship building. You can see Bob and Enzo's relationship strengthening as well. And of course, this is the 90s cartoon, so you had boys being boys, you had girls being girls. You dig? Yes, people. there was cartoons back in the days where boys were boys and girls were girls. So you get some back and forth between boys and girls where, a girl does something and the boys are very amazed by her accomplishment and amazed by what she can do despite in spite of her being a girl. Then you got the girl being the very sassy pants. That's they don't necessarily undermine the boys, but they tend to tease them for being boys. I know Leia's seething right now. She is
No, it's
seething
just
as I'm saying. No, I'm kidding. She's actually getting warm because she missed some times where guys are allowed to be guys and girls were allowed to be girls.
that's
You
true.
know,
I agree.
they
Yeah,
weren't trying to interchange the genders back in them days.
I agree 100%. That's what makes them classic, and we go back and we watch them because it was exactly just the way you just said. Girls is girls, boys is boys. Boys didn't mind looking at the girls, and the girls didn't mind checking out the guys.
I just liked it because it was fun.
That too. It was fun.
Well,
That's
I
a key
don't know,
word.
Jacko. What I'm looking at on YouTube right now, I don't think they're in proper episodic order, anyways. Probably, I don't know. But that's the nature. That's the beauty of the episodic formula of shows back in the days is that you can watch. Sometimes you can kind of watch them out of order, and won't miss a beat. You know.
Let's see. Wizards, Warriors, and a word from our sponsor.
Yeah.
The Great Brain Robbery, Talent Night, Identity Crisis Part 1 and 2, Enzo the Smart.
Okay. Okay, let's get into the two-parter. The two-parter was where things were really kicking off to foreshadow that this show was about to go in a direction that we as kids were not expecting it to go. It was going down a dark where Dot was I believe she was in a game during that time, and she was hallucinating a dark future ahead for Mainframe.
Mm.
And and every time she gets these episodes, you hear Fong's voice in the background. What you see is, I forgot how you said it. What you see is something that's going to happen to some degree. I vaguely remember. I'm paraphrasing. But bro, as a kid, when every time I kept seeing that would always haunt me. Especially the one shot where Dot looks at herself in a reflection, and she sees herself as bald with a barcode etched across her forehead, and you see her scream, just like scream at the horror. I was like, oh my god, that was insane. But yeah, that two-part was definitely a Dot centered episode two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to affect her character going down the long run when we go up into the next season. And it's going to also elevate her character even more when we get to the third season. And watch how they fuck it up in the fourth season. We'll get there. Let's get to Hexadecimal real fast before we start. I think this is going to be a short episode today, guys, because we don't really have our usual cartographer, Dominic Howe. But Hexadecimal, oh my gosh, she is oozing confidence and sexuality combined. She is the succubus, the dark lady. Oh my goodness. Now, how she communicates is through body language and the switching, the slip of the hand, switching of the mask. And each mask gives her a different personality or a different face to signify what she is saying in the moment. Like, say for instance, she'll say something sad, and we'll have a sad face, and we'll have that drama mask, like the two masks, happy and drama,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. So she'll have that even with a teardrop, or she'll be sinister, where she has a mask where she's smiling with a mouth full of sharp teeth, and she will have red eyes. And what sets her apart between Megabyte, I'm gonna get into Megabyte as well, because he's a powerhouse in his own right. But Hexadecimal is pretty powerful. She took on half of Megabyte's army by herself. By herself. She can freeze you in place with a mere thought. She can send you down to the sea where you can get vaporized and be lost forever. In fact, she controls her own center called Los Angles, which is this very almost weird amalgamation of Lovecraftian and ruin once you enter. And once you enter, all hell breaks loose. You get swarmed by gnolls. You get you move in different directions. Sometimes you're moving upside down. Sometimes you're right side up. Sometimes up is down, down is up. She controls that area specifically, and she is by herself, mind you, except for the gnolls that infest that area. And mind you, anybody who becomes a gnolls after the Buddy Smith, Hexadecimal is everybody's first I can fix her crush. Oh, man, can you stop foreshadowing? Jesus, we're gonna get there. It's Los Angeles, man. You spelled Los Angeles, man.
Does it sound? Well, I guess Los Angeles actually has a bit of order to it. Hexadale's like, nope, I'm going to make an entrance and now I'm everyone's problem.
Draco, get your butt up in here since you want to be the professor in all things reboot. You retain more information than I could ever possibly can. This is mostly your show. Look at him, always spilling the information. Look at him, clockwork. Why ain't you with us?
Could we send an invite and have him up?
He's with us in the Discord.
Oh.
The link is right there. He could click on it. But no, Megabyte. Oh my God, Megabyte. Jesus Christ. Just the mere presence of him sends chills down your spine. He even got his own villain theme music to boot whenever time he pops up. And of course, he's voiced by Tony J. So already he is villain made, tailor made. And my goodness, he has the patience of a saint. Even when he's frustrated with somebody, include that being Enzo, even he'll easily speak in a calm manner of fashion. There's rarely a time where he raised his voice. You know? And even when he's mad at his underlings, hack and slash, he has this calm demeanor. He's very suave like that. And oh my God, wait until we get into the later seasons about him, because man, Megabyte don't play. Megabyte don't play. He takes care of business, but at the same time, like you may beat him one day, but he's gonna come after you. His eye is on the prize at all times. If you want something, he's gonna get it. Now the show also introduced a lot of world building as well, and I know that's Draco's favorite thing about stories. Of course, it's my favorite thing too. World building, like Buddy Smith had spoke about earlier. Everybody's names are computer related lingo. Enzo Matrix, Dot Matrix, Fong. Fong's place of humble abode is the principal's office. Shoot, some of the slang and the puns are also computer related, like what Blake Smith said earlier in the stream, alphanumeric. Backspace, control paste. No, not control paste. Copy paste is also slang. So this was definitely around a time where a lot of shows had a lot of catchphrases and puns here and there. You know, that might not be to everybody's taste, but it always get a chuck out of me every time I hear the puns and the lingo. You feel me?
Mm.
It will always forever get a chuck out of me, because if you know computers, you know, and anybody who's probably a computer lover, you know, taking apart computers, putting them back together, or building their own computer, would definitely love this show by hearing all the stuff that they would say within the show. That the writers of Mainframe themselves really did their homework, did enough of their homework to really make these the computer language, so to speak, work. Follow me so far, Leia?
I'm following everything that you're saying.
Now, I haven't really spoke in depth of how Bob does his job as a guardian. Now, nobody really knows how the guardian process works, or what parameters makes one a guardian yet. But but at the start of the series, he's already Mainframe's designated guardian. And what we do know so far right now is that guardians come with their own little gizmo gadget called I know his gadget's called Glitch, but I'm pretty sure it's got another name. I like 90s Spider-Man Kingpin, boys. Thank you, but you're not wrong, Buddy Smith. You're not wrong. But yeah, he has his trusty friend, this sentient device on his arm called Glitch, and apparently Glitch does everything so long as you say what you want. He's basically the gizmo is basically Inspector Gadget on a lot of things. It could be a buzzsaw, it could be a needle, it can stabilize tears. It could become a spring pad to save you from falling. You know, can catch you while you fall. What's another thing it does? It can do X-rays, a lot of things. Key tool, thank you. And Jekyll is in here. Thank you. He's a key. Yeah, he has the key tool called Glitch. Now we have the Star Wars himself, Jekyll Nightmare. Speak up, bro. Don't mumble.
Greed, everyone. The Star Warden, writing in late too, and promptly joined this reboot stream.
No, not impromptu. You part of this. You said you're gonna be here.
I just had a very busy year.
Humble, you sleeping on your job. You're supposed to kidnap him
Why?
because he's supposed to be here. We said we were going to do reboot. He said he was enthusiastic in joining us, and here he is joining in late. And you failed at your job. You're supposed to kidnap him. He's supposed to be the plan B. Break glass in case Dom doesn't show up. Now, I haven't really asked any one of you your impressions of Reboot. So I'm gonna start with Humble real fast, and then move on to you, Draco. Humble.
My
Your
first
impression.
impression.
Yeah, your first impression so far with Reboot. From child to adult.
Child me wondered, why were they all green? Were they sick?
Did Megabyte at least scared you?
Current me, it was like my favorite character is the dog.
Frisky, of course. Dog characters are always the best. Is that it? You have more?
Oh, well, the other thing that I really liked was all of the humor in the situations, like in the episode, Wizards, Warriors, and a word from our sponsor. One of the shorter citizens ended up being the one being the princess in the tower that needed to get rescued, and the one who was voicing the help was Dot.
You mean Enzo?
Yeah, Enzo.
A nice subversion of expectations right there.
And the other one I liked was when they had the Quick and the Fed. He had to go. Bob ended up having to basically go halfway across the city to get some type of takeout, and the waiter was hard of hearing.
He had to get slow food to feed Dot energy because a magnet hit her, and when a magnet hits you, it drains you of your energy and you slowly die.
Yeah.
When in actuality she already ordered ahead of time to get it.
Well, the reason
Draco.
the cook was hard of hearing is because he was only running at 3 decahertz.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Computer related. Draco, go ahead. Your impressions.
Well, since I couldn't watch it as a kid, I had to watch it as an adult. My first impressions are, wow, finally, Tron as a cartoon.
Before we got Tron Uprising.
Yeah. But man, the first press show was like, despite all the things ABC did to this show, it's still great. It's actually funny. It's actually funny. Megabyte's still a threat, and despite having everything toned down, it's just a fun little show to watch.
Yeah, for the first season, you get, despite the cartoony sounds and a lot of cartoony stuff that happens, it's still well told and well paced, and the characters keep you engrossed. The world keeps you engrossed in the activities of Mainframe itself. It makes you want to know more about this world, and later on when we get into the next season, it keeps feeding your appetite for this world. Leaves you hungry for more, and it continues to feed you. Probably what made you a writer, right?
Yes.
Which he is definitely a successful writer, everybody. Draco Nightmare has under his belt right now 3 books of Star Wars, 3 volumes of Star Wars. You can find them on Amazon.
4th story in an upcoming anthology.
I'm sorry, say it again.
And a 4th story in an upcoming anthology.
I don't know what that word is, but but yeah. So favorite characters. Mine will always be Bob, but next to him is definitely Frisket. I just love what that dog does. Mike TV in later seasons is my next favorite.
Hmm.
Now, Best Girl, we're not going to get into that until we get more into the show.
Oh, I thought the best girl was gonna be Dot. But it's the other one. I see. I understand.
No. I'm holding that off until we get more girls because right now she's technically it's between her and Hexadecimal, and Hexadecimal is a bad girl right now.
I mean, the other one's also a bad girl.
Yeah, but she doesn't show up yet.
Yes, she does. She shows up in this season.
She does. Mouse.
Yes, in the Great Brain Robbery. That's her first appearance.
Yeah. Oh. And she a redhead too.
Yeah, she's not on. Yeah, it's a good thing I did show up. After all, when Dom's not here. But the person we're referring to, who doesn't appear on the reboot picture, is a character named Mouse. She's effectively a piece of software for hire, or hacking software for hire, to be specific. She first appears in the episode The Great Brain Robbery, working for Megabyte, trying to get into Bob's brain in order to get access to the supercomputer. But when it accidentally gets into Enzo's brain, and Megabyte uses that to try to take over Mainframe itself.
Voiced by Stephanie Louise Valance or Stevie Valance. So she's both live action animated. I don't know who Jenny from The Ropers is, or Stevie Brody from Night Heat, or was that Kangaroo and Billy Zoo? But she has done the kids' voices in Madeline. So I guess Miss she was Miss Clavel and Genevieve. Okay. That's Miss Clavel. Huh. Miss Clavel was in Reboot. Go figure. She was my favorite in Madeline. Then again, I just tend to like authoritative figures. I tend to gravitate towards those types. The mentors, mostly. Maybe because I had half a teacher back in the days when I was a kid.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Heard it here first, folks. Wolf likes to be dominated.
No, I just like older women. It's been built into me since childbirth, apparently. Good thing I did not pursue my teachers. That would have been nasty at my age.
Okay, moving slightly back on track. There is something I did want to
try
bring up.
to imitate Dom. Be Draco. Don't try to be Dom. Be Draco.
Well, there is a subject I did want to bring up before the show closed. Reboot. I wanted to talk about the censorship.
Go on.
The Reboot Season 1 under ABC was subject to intense censorship by the broadcast standards and practices of the company. There was the usual, we gotta make it safe for kids on TV, and then there were just the egregiously weird stuff. For one, the word hockey was banned because they thought it was a slur.
What?
Yes. Certain violence was not allowed. No guns could be allowed to be used. So when they did use them, the characters got frozen in bubbles and such, or they had to use other implements. You couldn't even have an arrowhead. It had to be replaced with a clown's head. And on Wizards, Warriors, and a word from our sponsors. And then there's what happened with Dot. She wasn't allowed to have breasts. She had to have a mono boob.
Right.
So yeah, well, that get fixed later. Hexadecimal was allowed to have breasts though, because she's evil.
Of course.
And so was Mouse because she was working for the bad guys.
Well, she was a rebel.
Yeah, but good girls not allowed. You can only have one. And the most egregious one was in the episode Talent Night, which the showrunners actively mocked by having a program censor there to reject most of the acts. But what they did was it was Enzo's birthday, and Dot being his sister was just gonna give him a peck on the cheek. But that was not allowed because ABC thought it would be promoting incest.
That I can kind of see.
Oh.
What?
That I can kind of understand.
No, there's no way.
No, but I understand their concerns. Not saying what they're doing was right. What I'm saying is I understand their concerns on that
Sensitivity
subject.
readers before sensitivity readers.
Right. Though she was high on that table, on that piano table, wasn't she?
Listen, they just
I can
went.
take the bad with the good.
Oh, also one more thing. There was a scene in an episode where Bob needed to break through a window, but since they didn't want kids imitating that, they had to make the window break apart and form up so Bob could just fly in. Now, what's interesting is what Bob says to activate the program to window. He tells Glitch to say, he says, Glitch, BSMP. The showrunners and the censors did not get along, but while it was on ABC, it had to conform to those rules. But despite all these restrictions, it is still a good show.
I mean, looking back at the 90s, a lot of shows were like that. A lot. Some broke new ground. Some were able to get through it. Gargoyles specifically. But that came with the territory. That was normal. Didn't make it right, but it was normal. We all knew that. We all seen that. Most of us who were born around the 90s and 2000s range knew what the censorship was all about, how they did it. I mean, we kind of knew, but we didn't really know until later on when we got more mature. But there was a lot of things that was going on that was very, very, very censor heavy, and yeah, we laugh at it today, but we all knew, okay? We all knew. It was dumb, it was stupid, but we were okay with it because the writers will always find a way to still entertain us in some ways. You feel me?
Yeah, I still think they went way overboard with it when it came to reboot.
Yeah, they did.
When it comes to kids' cartoons, the censors always go overboard.
I feel like they let more things slide with Beast Wars than they did with Reboot.
Then again, even in the prison game, why would you want to shoot the prisoners dead? The purpose of jail is putting them back behind bars. Like, yeah, Grant, we all know in prison breaks sometimes guns are being fired, but in a show, in a game like that, you couldn't imagine a game like that being made where you got guns that shoot capture bubbles to capture your prisoners, right?
Yeah, that I can see. That I can understand as fitting in with the game, but clown arrowheads, that's a bit more of a stretch.
Yeah, true.
And a gun that in the Frisket episode, a gun that shoots a life raft.
Oh yeah, that was.
By the way, that life raft, it says if you look at it closely, it says BSMP approved.
Yeah, why wouldn't Megabyte have rocket launchers that shoot life rafts? Right?
Yeah. It still just got ridiculous for this show. I feel like Reboot got hit harder with the censorship than most shows for its time.
I would say they had a whole lot of fun though while they were obeying the censors though.
True.
As ridiculous as it was, and as ridiculous as the restriction was, at least they made it look fun and
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, sometimes that's just the price of the industry. Sometimes you just gotta work within those guidelines, even though they're patently ridiculous.
Well, it was either do like what Reboot did, which was make it silly, do what Batman the Animated Series did, which was make the non-violent consequence look worse than the actual consequence, aka Joker's laughing gas. Or Rugrats, which decided to have a whole episode be based on a cuss word, and the censorship was perfectly cut screams.
Yeah, I remember that episode. That episode was amazing. Or in the case of Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, and the like, mock the censors.
No, they did one step further. They mocked everybody, so that way they could say no one was being unfairly targeted.
Leia, what do you think about this series so far?
Well, I'll say this. I can see why perhaps you yourself and many others have fans. Maybe I was born too early to really get into this show.
It's not too late.
Well, maybe down the road. I can't say right now. I have to be very honest.
You're part of this series. And these go 5 episodes. The first season is not that long. It's actually, 10, 13 episodes?
Well, I also have to be honest. I'm not that crazy about the animation. I'm sorry. I'm not that crazy about the animation style for this. I have to be honest about it. But I can see why
Early
it has.
days.
Yeah, the early stage of it. So it doesn't quite have me totally, but I can understand why it has fans, why you guys like it. Maybe some of you became fans when you were kids or when you were young or teenagers, whatever. You became fans of it, and that's why it means a lot to you, and I can understand that. Maybe down the line, well, but I can't make any promises because one, the animation style I'm not really that crazy about. So we just have to see. I'm I'm honest to a fault,
Mhm.
but I can see why a lot of you and those of you listening are fans of it. I cannot promise that I'm going to fall in love with the series. I can't really say that, but
I definitely
I,
got
I can see
a
why you
treat for
guys like it.
you next week, though.
What is it?
I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
Don't y'all tell her either.
You don't have to tell me. Okay. No,
But
but
it is quite a treat for you.
There's no shame, Leia. It's one of the first fully CGI animated shows it was created. It's going to be extremely dated when it comes to its animation.
I mean, you
I
did check out Beast Wars, which was made by the same company.
yeah, but I didn't fall in love with that either.
I didn't say you have to
okay.
fall in love with. I'm just saying, like,
It wasn't
you
my
pretty much
thing.
got a taste of that animation, regardless.
Yeah, and I wasn't crazy about it. I did it on your recommendation, but it's like this is just not my thing. This is not my jam. I'm not feeling this. I was just trying to be courteous to you because it was it was a courteous to you because you were recommending it, and then I said, okay, I'll be fair, but it's just not my jam.
We'll see. Too late. We talked about that already. You can go check out that stream.
Objection. Absolutely watch Beast Machines.
It's got some good parts to it. We rewatching it now as an adult, I couldn't see some redeeming qualities of that series.
Oh, my favorite
You'll
is
hear our opinions about that in the Beast Machine stream. Maybe it'll change your mind.
my favorite
Certainly
thing
did.
is
Oh.
my favorite is the fact that Rap Dinobot and who was the rat? Well, those two just basically going at each other like
Stand aside, vermin. Make your move, laser brain. Dinobot. Maximize. Red Trip. Maximize.
oh yeah, that was the guy's name, Rat Trap. One minute they're at each other's throats, the next minute Raptor Bot is in his alt mode riding on Rat Trap and Rat mode.
In its transmetal form.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Like a grown man on a tiny skateboard.
Or one of those mini cycles.
Yep.
That was peak Dinobot and Rat Trap's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely peak. Now that's one thing I will say. I gotta give credit where credit's due to Mainframe. They really do character arcs really good. That's not to say that no other show has ever done it like they have. What I'm saying is I'm giving credit despite the fact there were this team that were doing these all CGI shows, what they were working with so far. And once again, I stress this a lot. Those who listen, those who come by and listen, I stress it a lot. When you are limited to the resources of your story, if that's what you got, then you better have a damn good story behind all of that. If you have low frame animation, right? If you have low textures, low graphics, right? You better have a damn good story behind those low graphics and low tier resources. If all you have is models and toys, you better have a damn good story behind that. If you have nothing but painted backgrounds, matte paintings even, and you got all these miniatures and maquettes, you better have a damn good story. That's what you need to be putting all your time and focus and energy on above all else, is a damn good story. A well-told story. And the only criticism that you'll ever have against you is your low-tech stuff. But if all they can praise to you is good storytelling, oh, hook, line, and sinker. You're a master of your craft too. And you also know what that comes next, if you're that lucky, that is, or if you're that fortunate, is that you get more budget, then you have enough resources to make it as good as possible, make it even better. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I stress that to anybody who's listening. You ain't got none of that. The best thing I can encourage you to do is have a damn good story. And for what it's worth, Reboot is a prime example. And of course, we're coming from a time. They were coming from a time where that's all that they had was a damn good story to tell, and they told it through what little resources they had with them at the time. They weren't Bruce Timm and his crew. They weren't Greg Weisman and his crew. But they were some damn good storytellers, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So if nothing else, Leia, hopefully if you ever get a chance to watch one of the episodes, at least a little taste, you'll see what I mean. Because I'm pretty sure you were engrossed in Beast Wars, even though the animation didn't grab you enough. You saw some good storytelling. You saw some damn good storytelling.
it didn't work for me. It may have been good storytelling, but it just didn't work for me. I didn't say it was bad, but it just was not my
Maybe
taste.
Leia's just not an action fan.
Well, it's okay that everyone's got
is.
different tastes.
I'm an action fan. I'm not a big fan of anime. I'm not a big fan, as most of you are, and I've
This ain't no
tried to.
anime.
Well, some
What is
people
Beast?
are-
What is Beast Wars?
Beast Wars is animation.
It didn't work for me. I am typical Disney girl animation. So
You
that
just gotta
one.
get her on some gargoyles one day,
What were you
or
saying,
Mighty
Draco?
Ducks.
No, I was about to get into some technicalities with the word anime, but forget it.
Oh, some action animation I enjoy, but a story can be good, but sometimes it just isn't the right fit for you.
I bet you if
Yeah.
we ever get to the Mighty Ducks, whenever we get there, she'll be still saying the same words. We might as well turn that into a T-shirt. I like it, but I'm not in love with it. It just
Yeah.
didn't grab me enough.
I told you, Wolf. Always, I said you don't want me in this
Ah,
conversation.
If they're a dragon, mind your words. She's black.
I
Mind your
find it quite
words.
funny. Oh.
I know.
well, some people it's Chris Hemsworth doing
He
doing
didn't know.
chin-ups.
He
Other
didn't know any
people it's
better.
funny robots.
He didn't know any better. You're a good man, though, Ethereal.
I'm not offended theory. I find it quite funny.
Yeah. Highlight of the day.
Mhm.
Leia was
It's just
mistaken for a white girl because she liked Disney princesses.
That's not the first time that's happened. There have been many occasions when people thought I was white. Sorry, and I just laughed at it. It's the story of my life. So I find it quite funny.
Given the nature of things and given the nature of things way back when, yeah, it's fucking weird how people think these days, and even back in them days, and how it continues to perpetuate. Which we're definitely gonna touch upon that sometime later on in the Real Millennials. That's something that's been on my mind. A lot of perceptions and preconceptions and. Anyways, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Do you drink pumpkin spice lattes? Those 5 of you and those nonsense motherfuckers that keep popping in and out. Thank you, Jacko, for joining us at short notice. The Star Wars himself, Jacko Nightmare.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this and perked up your interest in I want you to and remember to stay strong, do good, and slay evil.
The lovely Leia Violet plus size.
Hello, everyone. This is Leah Plus Size, your lovely lady of valor, and I hope this discussion gets all of you interested in Reboot. You may not have to be like me, but if this is something you would like to invest your time in, please do. If you are a fan of this show, please leave it in the comments below. I'm sure Wolf will very much appreciate your thoughts on this show. And if you know anyone that is, or you think might be a fan, might like this show, please share this video with them. I'm sure Wolf will appreciate that well. Until then, everybody, if you're on the East Coast where I am, try to stay cool, take it easy, and we'll see you next time.
The humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hello, this is Humble Marty, and I write things. Thank you for being here today. And if this ever comes across in your neck of the woods or whatever algorithm decides to bless you, then thank you for listening.
Once again, Reboot can be found anywhere on YouTube. They have all the complete episodes on certain YouTube spaces. You can find a whole list of the episodes all together within each season. It's free. Heck, you probably can find it still somewhere on Tubi, or even, well, do what we always do. We be pirates and we find booty. But definitely give Reboot a chance. Do not let the animation bog you down with the dead eye stares of the characters and all that stuff. It can be pleasing to the eyes at times, and sometimes it can be unpleasant. Don't let that stop you though. Damn good storytelling, damn good imagination, damn good creation, and it was a time where we were allowed to be very, very creative. This was around the era of, once again, Gargoyles, X-Men Evolution. What else? Goof Troop. All those shows that you guys admire and put onto your what about the new series? We will not speak of that travesty. Though I would, you know what? In case if I don't say it in the next season, I'm also saying that there was, before the Guardian Code was even made or even conceptualized, there was going to be a continuation with better graphics. If I find a teaser, I will show you guys. There was going to be a continuation, and it looked good, real good. Yes, Animaniacs. This was even around the time of Animaniacs and Roll Rovers. What we got lined up pretty soon. We got a new Real Millennials coming up this Thursday. And of course, we're going to continue on Reboot next week. We're going to do another Real Millennials next week as well. Fast forward to August. We are going to tackle the fan fiction once again, Dragon Ball Gine. And didn't I also say we're going to tackle Kaiju number 8 for manga studies?
Yes.
I asked a question. I need an answer.
Yeah.
I think that was in the fall, right? Somewhere in
Mhm.
November. Yeah, in November we're gonna revitalize manga studies, and with that revival, we're gonna bring up we're gonna read. Excuse me. We're gonna talk about Kaiju number 8 and some other ones. Yeah, there were 2 TV movies for Reboot. We're going to tackle those separately, though. Or maybe we'll talk about them in the 4th season stream.
I mean, the made-for-TV movies are the 4th season.
Yeah, but YouTube got them broken down in episodes, though.
I mean, that's what happened because the movie deal fell through, and so they had to break them up into episodes.
Well, you tell me about that later. Anyways, this is your Wolf Friend. What to remind you guys once again that you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the Wolf Fleet.
Big smiles, everyone. You beat the bad guy.
What a lot of fun. Yeah, guys have been real swell. And there's not a one who can say this ended well. All those secrets you've been concealing, say you're happy now. Once more with feeling, now I gotta run. See you home.